It's the Brad and John Show.
It is the Brad and John Show. This is the C Block for Charlie Brock. Today is June 17th. We started around 7:40. We're way late this morning because John was too busy complimenting me in the B Block. Okay, John, I have a question for you. If you drive west on Highway 40, I should know the name of the church. I think it might be the Bonhomme Church. There's a church on the north side of 40 before you get to the Chesterfield East Parkway. And in the parking lot, it looks like a construction convention. There are all sorts of trucks and crazy construction equipment and a big trailer. It looks like they're like an office kind of trailer. And the office trailer has on the side of it Samaritan purse. What is going on there? Is that church being renovated, or is that like a site for? I know what Samaritan's purse is. Do you know what they're doing out there?
I don't know. Is it a local place for folks who were affected by the Wildwood tornado and Chesterfield tornado a couple weeks ago?
Well, do you know what Samaritan purse is?
Yeah, we've talked about it on the show before. Or maybe we haven't talked about it on the show, but they're an actual legitimate philanthropic disaster relief group, right?
Right. And I've noticed this for like a couple weeks now, where, I mean, when I say there's like trucks, I mean, like, we're talking like 20, 30 trucks and construction equipment and man lifts and all kinds of stuff like that. And it's all parked there. And this is a matter of fact, I think one of my friends years ago, I think I was in that church. I think one of my friends got married in that church, if I remember correctly. But
let me interrupt, Brad. Okay, so it took me 5 seconds to Google this. They have a disaster relief unit based at Bonhomme Presbyterian Church in Chesterfield.
Okay, so are they doing the city stuff, or where are they doing?
I'm guessing they're doing for the folks that were affected by the May 16th tornado that devastated areas of 109 and Wildwood and Chesterfield. And I guess folks that were affected in the city and county can come out too. But yeah, a quick Google search revealed that answer.
See, John, but it's more fun to ask you. Because
I mean, why invest the time? And we can't go to according to AI.com anymore because you gave that up 3 weeks ago. Brad, you have started, for folks who don't know, Brad, in Q2 of this year, Brad, you have, and is the domain hosting for according to AI, is that free?
John,
No, you have to pay for it. So you've started 2 brand new websites in Q2. And how much have you spent advertising for Westplex Talk?
Quite a bit.
Oh, really? Where have you advertised Westplex Talk?
On the billboards.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have.
Where are you? Okay, you told me 3 weeks ago as I was preparing my resume to hopefully leave, you said that you spent less than $100 and that you're not running billboards anymore.
I did it. You said where I'm not doing it right now. But,
okay, so you're not okay. In Q2 of this year, have you purchased billboards?
Yes.
Okay, so you're saying that since April 1st, you bought billboards?
Yes.
Where have they been?
On I-70 in St. Charles.
Oh, wow. Okay, so when I asked you this the other day, you said that you bought 2 flights and you weren't doing them currently.
I did it again after you said that.
Okay, that's believable.
See,
that's
after
awesome.
you said that,
Brad. I stand corrected.
I did it again. And when you say, see, this is the interesting thing. It's a company called Blip Billboards, I believe is with blipbillboards.com.
I've been to their website.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what you're doing is you're buying remnant inventory. And the way it works is it's the same thing in radio. We sell X amount of advertising, and let's say we've got 8 minutes of advertising an hour, and we only sell 7. It's like the old theory of what's a hotel room worth tonight and what's a hotel room worth last night. The idea being is if it's got a value on it tonight.
We got it. I love the idea that you say that you would sell 7 minutes of advertising out of an 8-minute break. Go ahead.
You know what? And you're making fun of me on Westplex 107.1. I've actually had to increase a couple of the spot breaks because we had to squeeze in some more advertisers. But
I love that.
But that's
Brad.
a whole nother story.
Good.
Okay. The idea on this is, and you know, once again, whoever came up with this idea, and this is what's sort of frustrating to me about my fellow brethren in the radio business, okay? I have done this for years. You can go on any of our websites. You can go on, John's going to make fun of this, I know he will.
And you can just go click on shop and you can order right away. Matter of fact, once again, here we go again. Somebody just the other day bought an ad and you don't have to even talk to anybody.
Right. And see,
there, sorry, I saved the listeners 4 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay. You can go on our websites and you can buy advertising, bang, like that. And to the point where what's interesting about it is occasionally this happens where someone will buy advertising, or they'll call me and they'll say, hey, if I buy advertising from you today, how long will it be before my ad's on the air? And
you tell them, here's what you do. Do you have a phone? Yes. You can record right now and send it to me and it'll be on by the afternoon.
And I did that just last week with a guy. And the crazy thing was, this is sort of bothersome to me. I don't want to embarrass the guy. I said to him, and people, they freak out and they don't understand what I'm doing. And I say, here's what you do. Take your phone, go out and sit in your car and bring up your video recorder. And I don't care where you point the camera at. It could be at the ceiling at the car, could be at the steering wheel, could be wherever. And just record a video. But I don't care what the camera's looking at. Just keep the phone about 8 to 10 inches from your mouth and give me the ad. And they go, why would I do that? And I go, because your car is a very good acoustical environment. It has no parallel surfaces. Most of the surfaces are soft, which means the sound's not bouncing around and sounding like crap, like these people who are now using, they put them on the air, and it sounds like they're in a toilet, okay? So I went over this with a guy, and I don't want to embarrass him. So I said to him, he goes, well, so then I send the video to you, but I'm not doing a TV ad. I go, I know. I stripped the audio off the video. And he's going, why are you doing that? I go, do you have an audio recorder on your phone? Well, not that I know of. Okay, you got a video. And it's super easy nowadays to take a video and email it to somebody or text it to somebody. Super easy. I mean, that's what I'm doing. So don't make this complicated. So I get the ad from him. And where does he record it? In his bedroom. And it sounds like he's in a tunnel. And I'm going dude, well, I just think it was sort of weird going out and doing that in my car. Okay, whatever. So I'm going, okay, fine.
And did you and he actually said that a car is the only place that you want to sit and eat a tub of ice cream in a store parking lot. And that way you can have hobos come accost you for money.
John's in rare form this morning. No, okay, but John, here, I'm going to say this. All your buddies at all the other radio stations, okay? You're Mr. Internet. You're sitting there right now. John, I will give you $1,000 if you could.
You don't have $1,000. We've established that recently.
Okay, I'll give you 10 $100 bills. It's $6.52. If you can find a website for one of the major stations in St. Louis, Odyssey or iHeart.
It doesn't exist because they actually invest in people, and they have a professional operation where you click an email that says contact us, and then a real live human being who's a professional salesman will reach out to you and accommodate their sales package to whatever your specific needs are. Mm-hmm. No, they haven't set up a generic buy now like it's Etsy, Brad. Mm-hmm. You are so revolutionary, Brad. I can't believe you're such a disruptor that you set up an Etsy model where you can buy advertising like a commodity. Way to go.
See, this is my industry, which is at fault, because what's happened is, if I wanted to go buy a billboard with Blip, if I wanted to put a YouTube ad on, if I wanted to put a Facebook ad, or in John's ballpark, a Instagram ad or an ad on X, it's 6 or 7:53 right now. I could have those ads up and running within an hour. And that
within a few hours, because the Amazon and like Meta, they do an AI review of it. They actually use AI correctly. So they do an AI review and then they approve it. You're right, though, Brad. You could have it up in a matter of hours.
But you don't have to talk to a salesperson. You don't have to go someplace. You don't have to have a gal come and take you out to lunch. You get it done in a hurry. So what I've looked at this and I go, okay, this is like, John, you're a business person, okay? Let's go back to your days of Monsanto. And let's say that, and this is the thing that drives me nuts about this. If I go to a website and I click on the hamburger, because I'm usually on my phone, and I click on the hamburger, and if there's not a pricing thing on there, I'm done. I'm not going any further. If they say, email us or text us, or here's a form, fill out, and we'll have somebody call you back, they never do. And there's a classic story which was on one of the industry trade publications, and it's actually sort of funny because he's exactly right. Here's a guy, and he wrote this like as a guest commentary onto one of our trade publications. And this guy is He's a media consultant is what he is, and he doesn't normally buy advertising time. He's not the kind of guy that's buying advertising time. But a friend of his who was starting up a store said to him, "Hey, you're one of those media guys. Can you buy some ads for me for my store?" And he said, "Oh, I really don't do that." "Oh, come on, help me out. I don't really have time to do it, and I don't want to hire an advertising agency." It wasn't that big of a store. So he wrote this article about how whatever city it was, I can't remember, it might have been Cincinnati, and which he probably has iHeart and all the other, culprits. And he sits at his computer and he goes onto the website.
Yeah, we got it.
And first off, he can't get the phone number of any salesperson. He can't get a phone number. You go to the main number, and and if you dial the main number, like right now, if you dial any of the numbers for iHeart or something like that, you get an automated, "Hi, thanks for calling iHeart. If you're calling about a contest, press 1. If you're calling about our latest weather forecast, press 2. If you're calling about John Combest coming to work for us instead of that terrible Brad Hildebrand, press 3. You get that kind of stuff. Okay, his point was he spent like 5 or 6 hours and got nowhere. Nobody called him back. There was no phone numbers the whole bit. That's why I have done the extreme opposite. I put my phone number out on my websites. And what's interesting is if I have somebody who doesn't know who I am, you know what I tell them, John? You'll get a kick out of this.
What's that, Brad? What do you tell them?
Google my phone number. And they'll say, "What?" I go, "My phone number, 314-280-8880. Google my phone number." And they go, "Why would I Google your phone number?" Because it'll tell you practically everything I do. Because the Google search is going to bring up my phone number on the KSLQ website, on the Westplex 107 site, on the Westplex Talk site, on all the other sites. I'm there. So in other words, if you Google my phone number as a result of the Google search, you'll find all the things I do, and you can do business with any of the things I do by Googling my phone number. How about that, John?
That's amazing, Brad. I'm sure that's brought in a lot of business.
Quite honestly, it has.
I totally believe you.
See, it doesn't happen all the time, but probably once or twice a month, all of a sudden I look at and we use PayPal as our pay merchant process, whatever you want to call it. Every once in a while, my phone will go off. I get an email, and it'll be my PayPal account. "You just got X amount of dollars."
Now, you exaggerate when you say once or twice a month, but do you think maybe that's happened once this year or so?
Oh, John, I can tell you probably 8 or 9 times so far this year. And one time, I'm not exaggerating. One time, upper four figures. I mean, bang, there it is in my account.
And was it an Indian scammer, or how did that money come to you?
It was somebody buying advertising time.
Wow. And then they didn't renew, I'm sure, right?
No, John, yeah. See,
no, I'm just asking you. And are you at liberty to say who it was, or was it like a real company?
No, I'm not going to say that. Yeah,
okay,
it was a real company. I'm not going to. You're the one that says, "Well, what did you say the other day? I don't talk about other men's business. I don't talk about other men's other men's
no, I don't know
finances
what I
or whatever."
said, Brad, and let's be clear here. I said you asked me if our friends Mark Bland and Jason Cole made money off their YouTube Occupy Democrats thing. And I said, I don't know, because I don't care about what other men are paid.
John,
so let's get that right.
See, that's where you and I are different, because of the fact that when I talk to somebody who's doing something, matter of fact, there's podcasts that I've done. I can give you one right at the bat. This guy that used to, and he became very evasive with me. I asked him 3 times. You know exactly who this guy is. I think you know him. Mark, is it Wicentowski? What's his first name?
No, you're talking about Danny Wicentowski.
Danny Wicentowski. That's the guy, okay? I did a podcast with him because he did this podcast called American Skyjacker. Do you know about this?
No, you've talked about it between 6 and 8 times on the show.
Okay, he was a reporter for the Riverfront Times, and he did this podcast. He actually did a story on the whole thing, which involved my old buddy Alan Barklage and the whole thing. And somehow or another, these producers out in Los Angeles saw this and thought to myself, well, this would be a really good thing to do a podcast. And the interesting part of it was he told me that not only was it a podcast, all the interviews were done with video. They didn't just stick a microphone in front of these people. They videoed it because
that's nice. That's kind of the LouInfo.com model, where radio stations actually invest in technology
and
do video.
It wasn't a radio station. It wasn't a radio station. They were thinking about doing.
I know. I'm mocking you. Go ahead.
A documentary, okay? And I asked him 3 times, Danny, did you make any money at this? And here's the interesting thing, okay? The interesting thing is, he's a reporter, okay? Just like I made my point yesterday. The worst people to try to get information out of are reporters because it's one-sided. They'll stick a microphone in front of your face and ask you 42 million questions, and they won't bat an eye at asking who you slept with last night or, how many Quaaludes you had, back in the 80s and, and how many times you got drunk last month. But if you ask them a question, like when I call KWMU, they hush up. Oh, we can't talk about that. Well, what do you mean you can't talk about that? They can print every stupid detail about KDHX on St. Louis Public Radio.org, STLPR. But if you ask them a question about their acquisition from friends of KWMU from the University of Missouri, whoa, we're not going to talk about that. See, and the same thing with Danny Wicentowski. He wouldn't tell me.
Do you think maybe Danny is too polite and socially intelligent to tell you that it's none of your business? So do you think it was just more appropriate for Danny to evade the question rather than say, Brad, at your age, why are you asking a young man how much money he's making from Project X?
John, see, here's the problem, John. You've become an old man. You've become an old man.
Oh, I've been an old man for like almost 50 years now.
Yeah, since you were born. So when your first day on the planet Earth.
And you don't think it's rude to ask people like how much money they make or what they make off a topic?
Not at all. Not at all.
Wow, okay.
Not at all. Because of the fact it's common, back in the day. I mean, hey, come on, John.
Brad, you're becoming an old man. You said back in the day, you're becoming an old man.
John, when you worked at Monsanto, okay,
mm-hmm.
You didn't necessarily ask people what they made. You knew what everybody made around you.
No, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. Everybody knows that.
I knew what I made.
Everybody knows that. Everybody knows that. I mean, and because of the fact it's just common knowledge. And nowadays,
I had no idea with the 10 people that I worked most closely with. I had no idea if they started at 90 grand or if they started at 180. I had no idea. And I didn't care. Like, as long as I'm getting paid and as long as I got my money, like, I don't care what another man makes.
Listeners of the Brad and John show, you've just heard John admit to his extreme, is it naivete? Is that the word? Naive?
Yeah, you know me. They call me Johnny Naive.
Not Johnny Naive.
Sometimes I even go to Brad's top 3 and I read a story that says by Brad Hildebrand. I think he wrote it and not stole it off another website.
So you think it's abhorrent when Major League Baseball or when the Cardinals came out and say, we're paying Nolan Ariano $33.2 million?
No, because they're public figures, Brad. Is Danny Wicentowski a member of the St. Louis Cardinals?
No, he was a public figure because he was a journalist at St. Louis Public, and now he's a public figure because he's on SDLPR. He's on KWMU. He's a public figure.
Oh,
see,
that's so great,
as
Brad.
crazy
Brad,
as
I'd love to stay in chat, but I'm going to go check a magical cart and then make up a story about how people buy 4 figures of advertising a couple times a month.
Okay, John, don't believe me. I mean,
all right, Brad, I'll see you tomorrow.
I can give you one that happened last month. As a matter of fact,
can you just start sending that money directly to me and we'll cut out the middleman?
Okay, I'll be more than happy to do that. If you pay my tower rent, if you pay my electric bill, if you pay my FCC fees, if you pay my software account that we had that cost to keep the radio station on the air every day.
I'll see you on Wednesday.
I'll be more than happy to send you that. As a matter of fact, I'll send you all the money. You pay all the bills, and I'll just have a good time. How's that?
There we go, Brad. All right, I'll see you on Wednesday.